This is Al from Virtual TV. We're here in Berlin to interview Justin Vries from House of Light. So, how did you get into music, Justin?
Well, I was 8 when I was listening to groups like Blondie and 80s top 40 music and such. So I would say the first time when I was trying to recreate sounds of pop music in the 80s on the piano, and that wasn't working, so I bought a guitar, an acoustic, and that didn't quite work. And then my father bought me an electric, and then that worked. It was especially when I put the distortion on, and then suddenly I think I found my thing then. Yeah.
How old were you when you got your electric guitar?
I was 12.
Wow, that was early to start.
It's never too early.
True. So, what was a song that influenced you as a kid, especially?
Influence? You mean with the music we're doing now?
Well, one of the songs that you really took to.
Shout from Tears for Fears, for example.
Okay. So, and you say your main influences are like new wavy post-punk stuff?
I wouldn't say I have a main influence. It's all over the place. It touches on pop, rock, psychedelic, new wave, post-punk, whatever that is. It's all over the place. Yeah, I like a lot of different stuff.
Yeah. Well, your music has a psychedelic is a good word for it, but it has a dreamlike quality, I would say. Very sensual. So lyrics, are they important?
Yeah, totally. I mean,
what are your influences in terms of lyrics?
If I don't trust or believe a lyric I have, I won't be able to sing it well, and people will see. So I have to, even if I don't know what it means, I have to believe it probably means something. I have to believe that it has a meaning, and hopefully later I realize what that meaning is. Sorry, was it?
But I mean, do you have like
an influence?
Yeah, in terms of poetry or something. Do you have poets that you like?
I like Leonard Cohen, his poems and his lyrics.
Yeah.
There was a song called Window Flowers which was derived from some poet, but I can't really remember who. But I would say poetry, but more so song lyrics are an influence. Yeah.
Yeah, the Window Flowers songs, there was a line in it, there's a field where fools and lovers stop to cry, which I found very poetic. Are there certain themes that go through your songs?
I think earlier you asked if that was possibly from Catch in the Rye.
Yeah.
And I think that might be true. You might be unconsciously influenced by that.
Yeah.
As far as themes go, there are consistent themes. Yeah.
Like what, for example?
I'd say apocalyptic themes, systems, hopes of eternity, such, for example.
Hopes of eternity. Okay. So, do the elements play a role as well?
Yes, definitely.
Or dreams?
Especially water.
Yeah.
Dreams. There are a few lyrics. Occasionally derived from dreams. That happens.
How do you write?
I don't really have a rule. I don't really remember when it happens. It's quite unconscious, but I just write, and then there are lots of little pieces, and maybe I put them together, maybe I don't use it ever. Usually it starts with one thing, like it could be a riff or a lyric or a sound or anything, and I weave around that one idea. I go around it slowly, and to be honest, I don't really feel like I write the song. I feel like the song writes itself. It's co-written with whatever you want to call it, the spirit of the muse. And the song naturally evolves, and it might take a year. It might never be finished. Some songs have been written in like a few minutes, the length of the song, you could say. So I don't really have any rules about how I write, but generally I find one thing and sort of dance slightly around it until it gives up its secrets, you could say.
What makes a perfect song?
can only speak for myself personally, I think a perfect song has, well, I'll start with a perfect pop song. A perfect pop song would have a hook, a melody, an intro and outro, some sort of repetition, preferably in the chorus. But as far as a perfect song goes, I have...
For you,
as far as song goes, I don't know. It would have all the elements of a strong lyric, a good melody, an interesting rhythm, a unique sound, all those elements, I guess. Yeah. And it would be complete. It has a sort of, not too long, it's not too short, it's just right.
When you play live, is it, because sometimes you play songs live, sometimes you don't feel it, you just play them. But sometimes, do the songs come alive as well on stage?
Yeah, they can surprise you. I mean, I've played songs on stage in ways that I never thought possible and probably would never happen again. Yeah, they have their own life, that's for sure. Yeah. In fact, in our last show, I remember experiencing a feeling of being in the moment, the feeling experience when I wrote the song, which was a bit of a time travel.
Which song was it?
It was She's Like the Sea.
All right, so, okay, I see. So that was inspired by?
I don't want to say.
Oh, okay.
It's a few things. The thing I thought it was inspired by, later I realized it was not only that, it was quite a few other things, which I kind of was pleasantly surprised by because it meant that I was not bound to that meaning of the song.
Yeah. Well, I think in essence, we always write about ourselves. We're projecting on. Would you agree?
Well, I'd say 90, almost always.
Yeah. Do you have a special approach on covers?
On the chorus.
On covers, when you cover a song.
No. I mean, I don't really think about it, but I don't think a cover's worth doing unless you do it your own way and quite differently.
How do you pick them?
I generally cover songs I just really like especially that I liked as a teenager. For example, we covered Shout, we did a lot of Velvet Underground covers, did Tears for Fears, what else? We've covered The Doors. I mean, I just do songs that I really like, and they're usually that are kind of easy to do with the band, not too many chord changes, because, life's too short to learn covers with a band that doesn't really want to do cover maybe anyway. So, yeah.
Do songs have sometimes songs have a certain quality in terms of having a climax, in terms of rhythm? Oh,
yeah. I think for us, most of the songs have a climactic moment, whether it's usually towards the end. There are a few dynamics that I like, for example, rising. I mean, it's like rising to a climax and falling, or rising, falling, rising, falling. There are certain dynamics that I think mirror our archetypal human states of being.
Do you have examples of your songs for different?
Naked and Dream is an interesting song because it has an anti-climax where it drops and then it goes up again, then it drops and then it goes apeshit at the end. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, where does the name of your band come from?
We were originally called House of Love, which I know I just like the sound of it, and then people were mistaken us for the 80s band. I don't know why. And you could say the love became light, so it became House of Light just by natural consequence. And it just was a name I resonated with it. It's nicely ambiguous.
Can music change the world?
Actually, I really believe so, but I think it's a very subtle, slow change, and you don't see these changes. They are felt by a few.
Yeah.
And but over time, I mean, I can just say for sure, if for me, I've listened to songs that instantly I became a different person by the end of the song. Because it would open up a new world, for example. I had that experience actually with Nick Cave's song. Yeah.
How do you connect with an audience?
There are a few tricks. Hopefully it just happens, but if there are problems, one way is to look at one person in the audience. And another thing I do is look at everybody in a few seconds in the audience. There are a few little energetic tricks that seem to work, but talking to them a little bit helps, but not too much, because people don't really want to hear musicians talk, and I don't blame them. Yeah.
So what is this thing?
It's I think it's some sort of Tibetan bowl. I can't do it. Maybe I can do it. We're supposed to clean out evil spirits or such.
What is your?
We should cut that bit out.
Oh, sorry. What are you trying to? What are you trying to achieve in terms of sound? With when you play with a band. What are you headed for?
I just try to make good songs that sound. I don't really write for other people. I just please myself.
Yeah.
And just make what I think sounds good, and hopefully other people feel the same.
Yeah. What's your favorite guitar?
I'd say it's my guitar, a 68 Gretsch, Black Hawk. Yeah.
How did you get that?
I was walking down Brighton, England, and I passed a shop and I just saw it in the window and I was like, oh my god, I wish I could have that, but I can't afford it. Kept walking on and to another shop, but then I just kept thinking about this guitar and I went back and I played it and I wrote a song on it and instantly I just thought, well, I'm just going to somehow get money by this guitar, and that's what I did.
Which song did you write on it?
Probably it no longer exists, but it made me buy the guitar.
So you've written several songs on that guitar as well?
Oh, plenty, yeah.
Does the guitar by itself inspire you as well?
I think a little. I think an object. Well, in the sense that certain objects will resonate more strongly with a person and give up their secrets more easily, in the sense like they will bring out what's in you more easily for whatever reason. They're personally connected somehow.
Yeah.
Who knows how energies work.
You mentioned that the symbolism was an influence on your lyrics.
Yeah, I would say I'm a symbolist.
In what way? Can you elaborate?
Well, I truly believe that the world is but symbols, and everything we see is a symbol, a mirror of sorts, and everything is metaphorical. So I have a symbolic view of the world, and so for me, in a way, writing in symbols is well, ideally, it's just a literal reaction. I'm really quite a fan of Carl Jung's archetypes, for example, and there are some symbols that are more powerful than others, and there are symbols that resonate with everybody at any time, regardless of the culture, and these are very interesting. Yeah. I
like how you put
for example,
being literal to a symbolic world. I like that. I like the image.
Yeah, well, everything. If it's ironic, it's probably true.
Yeah. So that the archetypes turn up in your songs as well.
Here and there, probably. I hope that will come more later because, yeah, here and there.
Well, thank you for listening.
Thank you.